The stars were quiet. For the first time in decades, the void between the planets did not hum with the tremors of war. Human ships floated among the ruins of what had once been a battleground spanning light years. Commander Eli stood on the observation deck of the flagship, staring into the infinite darkness. He could still feel the echoes of conflict in his bones. The memory of enemy fleets firing across the void. The loss of friends whose names he had never forgotten. The war had ended not with a treaty, but with survival. Humanity had endured assaults from a distant race known only as the Vorin. Creatures of steel and energy whose motives were incomprehensible to humans. Entire colonies had been wiped out before humans learned to fight back. But humans had a stubbornness, a capacity for adaptation that the Vorin could not anticipate. When the last battle ended, the humans had survived where others had fallen. On the bridge, Lieutenant Mara adjusted the navigation controls. She was quiet, almost meditative, her eyes reflecting the light of distant stars. "Commander," she said softly, "the wreckage fields are expanding. Sensors detect drifting debris from dozens of battles." Eli nodded. "We will need salvage teams soon. There may be technology we can still recover. Humans had always been scavengers and builders, taking what was left behind and turning it into something new." Mara understood this as well as anyone. Even in the aftermath, she felt the spark of hope. The galaxy had tried to extinguish humanity, but it had failed. And that failure carried its own power. A young technician named Leo entered the bridge, holding a small tablet. "Commander, we've received a signal from the planet Arden," he said. "It's weak, but it appears to be a human colony." Eli's eyes sharpened. "Arden. That sector was considered lost years ago. We don't know what state it's in," Leo admitted. "The signal is fragmented, but there's life. I can decode more if we move closer." Eli considered this. Every signal from survivors was precious, every colony a reminder that humanity still endured. "Prepare a small ship," he ordered. "Mara, you will accompany the team." The shuttle glided through the wreckage, careful to avoid drifting hulls and energy storms. Arden loomed below, a planet scarred by bombardment, its surface marked with craters and scorched plains. Yet even in its destruction, there were signs of life. Green patches that survived the blasts. Small clusters of settlements clinging to valleys and plateaus. The shuttle landed in a clearing, near a partially intact settlement. Humans emerged cautiously, their eyes wary but curious. Eli stepped forward and raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "We are human," he said. "We come from the fleet that fought the Vorin. Are you survivors?" A man approached, older, his face weathered from hardship. "We are," he said. "We thought we were the last." You have come from the stars." Eli felt a lump in his throat. There was pride in human resilience, a tenacity that defied reason. "We came to ensure your safety," he said. "We will help rebuild." The settlement welcomed the newcomers cautiously. Leo and Mara worked with the locals to repair damaged equipment and restore communication networks. Children watched wide-eyed as humans from the fleet shared stories of distant planets and battles won. It was a strange mixture of sorrow and hope. Humanity had suffered immeasurable losses, yet it persisted, at night. Eli walked along the ridges overlooking the settlement. The stars shone brighter here, unpolluted by war, and for a moment, the commander allowed himself to imagine a future without conflict. "We have survived the worst," he whispered to himself, "and we will endure beyond this." Mara joined him, her expression quiet but determined. "Do you think the Vorin will return?" she asked. Eli shook his head slowly. "Perhaps, but humanity is different now. We have learned to fight, to adapt. We will survive no matter the odds." Days turned into weeks. The survivors of Arden learned to farm the soil again, repair the shelters, and build simple defenses. Eli's fleet conducted surveys of nearby planets, seeking out other lost colonies. Each discovery strengthened the belief that humanity, though battered, could rebuild an empire stronger than before. One afternoon, Leo came running to the commander, excitement clear in his voice. "Commander, we have detected an energy signature unlike anything we've seen. It's near the northern pole." Eli and Mara accompanied him to the northern plains. There, partially buried in the ice, was a Voran machine, dormant but intact. Its design was alien, but human engineers could decipher its systems. Mara crouched beside it, running her hands over the metal surface. "They underestimated us," she said softly. "They thought this would end us," Eli nodded. "They were wrong." The discovery of the Voran machine became a symbol for Arden. It reminded humans that they had endured the impossible and emerged stronger. Engineers studied it carefully, learning new methods of energy storage and propulsion. Children played nearby, unaware of the war that had ravaged their ancestors, but feeling the pride of a species that refused to die. Months passed. Communication networks linked Arden to distant colonies, slowly weaving a network of human civilization across the stars. The fleet maintained vigilance, ready to defend against any threat, but also to guide humanity toward exploration, not merely survival. One evening, Eli stood on a hill overlooking the settlement. Fires burned in the distance, signaling work and life. Mara joined him quietly. They watched as children ran through fields of green, their laughter filling the air. "Do you think this peace will last?" Mara asked. Eli smiled faintly. "Perhaps not forever, but we have something stronger than peace alone. We have resilience, ingenuity, and the will to endure. That is humanity's true strength." In the months that followed, Arden became a beacon for human settlers. The story of survival spread across the stars, inspiring colonies to rebuild, to resist despair, and to fight for a future where humanity could thrive. The Voran threat remained a shadow on the horizon, but it was no longer an enemy that could break the human spirit. Eli often returned to the observation deck of his ship, gazing at the stars. He thought of the battles fought, the friends lost, and the victories won. Humanity had survived the hostilities, and in doing so, had become something greater than it had been before. He knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown dangers and wonders. But humans would face them as they always had, with courage, tenacity, and the unyielding belief that they could endure. As the sun rose over Arden, casting light over the repaired settlements and fields of green, Eli understood that survival was not merely about living. It was about creating a future that honored the past, a future where humanity would continue to rise, stronger and wiser with each challenge. The stars waited, endless and patient, and humanity was ready to meet them.